Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing a little bit of a different video. So it will be a vlog style video of me rereading all 6 books in the Gallagher Girls series by Ali Carter. This was the equivalent of Harry Potter for me. Like, I didn't grow up with Harry Potter like when I was a kid, like waiting for each book to come out. I just read them all when they were already out, but this is a series that I started reading in grade 7 and the last book came out when I was in my first year of university. So this is definitely a series that I grew up with, and it's near and dear to my heart. And since the last book came out in 2012, I haven't read it since. So me and my friend were rereading this over the summer, buddy reading it together, and I wanted to bring you guys along for the journey. I'm just bringing these books down because they're heavy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. It's a little bit of me being like super nostalgic and also having an existential crisis on how bad my memory is, because I remembered the first 2 books pretty well, but after the second one it was like reading them for the first time. So I'm a little bit concerned about my memory. But nevertheless, this video does contain spoilers because I do talk about the plot points in here. So if you've read this and you're okay with hearing the spoilers, it's okay. But I do talk about the major plot points. So obviously there'll be, spoilers and all that. But yeah, let's go see how I felt rereading this series as an adult. Okay, so I just started reading this book and it is super nostalgic. So even like the first paragraph, I'm like, I know why I love this book growing up. And it goes, I suppose a lot of teenage girls feel invisible sometimes, like they just disappear. Well, that's me, Cammie, the chameleon. But I'm luckier than most because at my school, that's considered cool. And just like little things that I like totally forgot about, or like they're just on their way to like the first dinner on the first day of school, and it tells them like which like language and accent to speak in, which I think is totally cool. I totally forgot about it, but I'm feeling super nostalgic. I remember something with a fair in this one, but other than that, I don't remember too much. But oh my goodness, it's super nostalgic, and even though I'm 8 pages in, like I'm really loving it so far. Alrighty, so I ended up reading 40 pages last night and it was just super nostalgic. There were so many things that I forgot about this series. For some reason, I always thought that they were like grade 7, grade 8 age, but Cammie is going to be 16 in this one, and I was just like, man, I don't know why I thought they were a lot younger, but it's just like being back at this school is just so fun, just like all the things. And like Macy has come now for a visit, and this school goes on like code red, and so they have to like all act normal and not look like they're doing like spy stuff. And this one thing made me laugh because Macy, who is being difficult, called them the B word. And this phrase made me laugh so hard. So it goes, now see, here's where the whole private school thing puts a girl at a disadvantage. MTV has led us to believe that the B word has become a term of endearment or slang among equals, but I still mainly think of it as an insult of choice for the inarticulate. Oh my goodness. I didn't pick up on that when I read this the first time, but oh man, that was pretty funny. But yeah, I really love it so far. I know this one's more of like a love story like type of thing, and then the plot definitely picks up. But yeah, it was a super easy read. I read for not very long, like half an hour, and I already got 40 pages in, so far so good. Alrighty everyone, so it's been a while since I've given you a update on my reading for this, and I ended up finishing it yesterday. I didn't do any updates along the way. I literally read like the last 200 so pages in one sitting. Like, I flew through it and I enjoyed it, just not as much as I did the first time. I feel like this one is very setting up the plot. Like, it's not really relevant to a lot of the things that happen later on in the series. And so I enjoyed it. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I still really love the school setting, and just the romance between Cammie and Joss was just like, it was problematic, and I didn't notice that when I was reading it the first time, but definitely now, especially because it was built on lies. And I don't remember, because it ends very abruptly, and they don't know if the tea that her mom gave him was like the one that wipes out your memory, and I don't remember that. But I totally forgot how they like knew she was doing this, like they figured it out even though she was trying to be really sneaky about it, which I totally forgot about as well. The one like thing in here that I noticed is that there is a lot of like weight shaming, almost, not like calling people out for being like fat or anything, but it's like, oh, like you'll look fat in this or like something like that, which, you know, I think is reminiscent of kind of the time this was written. But that's something I did pick up. It's like mentioned in here kind of a few times about like looking fat or something. So that was like a little complaint there, but nevertheless, I still really enjoyed this. Like I said, probably 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not as much as I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I did the first time, but I think that will probably pick up once the actual kind of like plot of this series continues. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm gonna go pick up the next one very, very soon. Alrighty, so I am officially 40 pages into Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy, and I'm liking this one a lot more than the first one. The first one is very much kind of like, I feel like it's very different from what I remember from the series. And I know there's still like another love interest, but like the first one was kind of like, you know, a young girl falling in love and like lying about it, all that stuff. But this one kind of like, I don't remember the plot of these ones as much. I think this is the one where we get introduced to Max. So basically the Eastern Hall wing is like closed off because of, you know, ventilation issues with the chemistry lab, and they realize that there's no ventilation that goes from the chemistry labs from there to cause that damage. So they think there's something suspicious about that. And then also Cammy hears her mom and Dr. Sullivan talking, or Mr. Sullivan, you can tell I'm a university student because I'm used to saying doctor, Mr. Sullivan, about Blackthorn and how Cammy doesn't know yet or doesn't suspect anything. So I'm trying to remember, I'm like, is Blackthorn the name of the school, like of the boys' school? I don't remember. But I definitely have been liking this one a little bit more. It's not so lovey-dovey, and just like the spy school setting, like I will never get over it. It's basically like a Hogwarts for spies, and I am totally here for it. Alrighty guys, so I am 110 pages into Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy, and it's slowly coming back to me, but yet at the same time I don't remember anything like about this one in particular. So I remember the part when they're at the Smithsonian and they have a task to not be followed, and that's where Cammy runs into Zach, and I was like, I feel like eventually once like she met him, I was like, okay, I remember this part. And so now they realize that Blackthorn is a school for the boys, and so they have officially arrived now at the school, and they come with Dr. Steve, and for some reason in my mind, like the voice inside my head is telling me that Dr. Steve is evil or bad. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but like that's what's coming to my mind right now, and I don't know why. But oh man, Cammy's just still heartbroken about Josh, even though she tells everyone that she is okay. She is still sad about the whole thing. So we're going along, and now they're in town on an assignment, and she has run into Josh, and that is where I've ended up so far. But I read like the first like sentence, so does he remember her? Like, did they not do the memory thing with the T? I don't know. I guess I will find out soon. Alrighty guys, so I just finished Cross My Heart and Hope to Spy, and I enjoyed this so much more than the first one. The first one I feel like is very like juvenile, and it's just kind of setting up the characters, and you kind of do get some introduction to Cammy's background, and I feel like this one is very much setting up the overarching plot, which I don't remember too much, but I feel like it alludes to it in some like sense of it. So I like the part when they're at the ball and like Cammy's strapless bra comes unstrapped, and I'm like, oh my god, like I know that fear of that, like it totally freaks me out, and I was like, I felt her anxiety with it. And then I was somewhat right with Dr. Steve in the fact that he was, you know, the bad guy, but it was just like one of their assignment missions that they didn't know. But yeah, I really like Zach in here. I feel like he's very mysterious, and I don't remember his background enough to kind of analyze some of the stuff in here, but I'm like, there's so much we don't know about him, and you kind of get little snippets here and there, but yeah, I'm still curious. So I really like this, and I feel like everyone knows what's going on, like Dr. Solomon and or Mr. Solomon and Cammie's mom like know what is going on. So I'm like, I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember. So I'm curious to see, but I really enjoyed this. There are so many parts in here, or like the fact that like Zach calls Josh like Jimmy and just keeps calling him that, I think is really funny. And it's just a fun YA read. Like I finished this relatively quickly, the last like 120 pages or so. So I really enjoyed this one. Definitely a step up from the first book. So I would give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It was just a lot of fun to read, and just like the strapless bra scene, like I totally forgot, but like that's happened to me, and I'm like, oh my god, like I feel like that anxiety and the secondhand embarrassment of the whole thing. And yeah, I'm just like super excited for the next one. But oh my goodness, yeah, definitely it's made me realize why I fell in love with this series in the first place. And like it's still a little bit juvenile compared to like what I normally read being a YA, but it's still just kind of fun, and it's good to just kind of lose yourself in something that's nostalgic and fun and just makes you happy. So yeah, definitely really excited with this one. Alrighty guys, long time no catch up, but today I finally read 58 pages in Don't Judge a Girl by Her Cover, and oh my goodness, I forgot so much about this one. This one I feel like I vaguely remember, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, I remember like the part, like it literally starts out within like the first 20 pages, Cammie and Macy are attacked, and they think it's a kidnapping for Macy. But I'm pretty sure it ended up being for Cammie, I think, as we later find out. And they just introduced Aunt Abby, which I totally forgot about that character. And I was like, I feel like, I don't know, I just like totally forgot about that character and all that. But I also feel like they also mentioned like a woman who was a part of the kidnapping that Cammie had an interaction with. And I feel like it could be Zach's mom. Like, I feel like that's like a voice in my head is telling me that, but I don't know why. But oh my goodness, I am just loving this so far. Like, I read like 50 pages in like maybe like an hour, 58 pages. Like, I went through it very, very quickly, so I'm really loving it. It's just, it helps that I don't remember this one that much, but I feel like I have some inkling, and I'm trying to figure out how Zach comes back into this storyline. I don't remember, but nevertheless, this has been really good so far, and I've been enjoying it. So yeah, definitely this is like, I feel like this is the kind of the turning point in the series. The first two are kind of setting up the kind of spy world, the characters' backgrounds, and I feel like this one is where it kind of actually goes into the overarching plot, which I don't really remember too much about. I know it's centered around Cammie, but other than that, I don't really remember too much about it. But yeah, super loving this so far. So far, so good, and oh, I just love this series. Alrighty guys, so I finished Don't Judge a Girl by Her Cover, and like I am still shocked because I didn't remember any of it. Oh my goodness, like I knew it wasn't Macy that they were going after, but oh my gosh, I apologize for the light, like the sun's shining and I don't know where to go, but oh my goodness, like the finding out that it was the coven of something that Gilly killed back in like the 1800s, that was like the first assassination attempt on Abraham Lincoln, and I'm just like, I totally forgot about that, because I'm like, I know they mentioned the ring and like the importance of it, and I'm trying to figure out, and why do I still think that the woman on the roof is Zach's mom? I don't know why. Like I said, it's been tainted by probably like 8+ years of, you know, memory, but I still think that, and just like the end scene with like the fighting and just what happens in like the alleyway was just so intense, and like Abby just kind of jumps in front of Macy and protects her, and it was just like, oh my god, and they're going after Cammie, and it's just chaos. Like I was like shook, and I can only imagine what, you know, 13-year-old Lexie was feeling when she was reading this for the first time. And yeah, I don't know why, like I thought Mr. Solomon and Cammie's mom were a couple, but then it seems like Abby and Mr. Solomon are a couple. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Maybe it's just, you know, my memory. I don't know. But oh my goodness, this made me realize why I really love this series, because the first two ones, like I said, are very kind of foundational, and this is where it actually starts to pick up and like that mystery, and it's just, I don't know, it's very interesting. And like the part where Mr. Solomon's crying after what happened to when in the alley and like all that stuff, and then the part where they're kind of going over like debriefing at the end, and Mr. Solomon just kind of like smiles after he like after Cammie's like basically figured out everything, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I loved this series, and now I know why I love it so much. But oh my goodness, so good, and it was so good. I'm still shocked, really, and I don't remember how it ends. And why is Zach so mysterious? Like, why is he kind of filled in on everything, and they kind of knew that Macy wasn't the target? Like, I felt like it could have been handled better. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm still processing everything, but like, how was like Zach involved with this, and like he told Cammie to be careful, and like after what happened in Boston, like I feel like I don't remember his background on why he is the one who's kind of helping with this. Like I don't know. So I have the book here. Let me grab it. My room's a mess because I was studying earlier today and I just had my book chat. But I will be picking this one up. Oh my goodness. I don't even read like the synopsis. I'm just gonna be like, just dive right into it because I want to know what's gonna happen. And why are they after Cammie? Is it something with her dad? I don't remember. Oh my goodness though, but I am still shocked. Alrighty guys, so I am already 30 pages into Only the Goods by Young, which makes me think of the Taylor Swift song. But already I have so many questions. Like in particular, Cammie's in London with Bex and they're skating, and she sees Zach and he tells her that Mr. Solomon didn't show up to one of like their meetups, and now he goes to try to speak to Cammie, and now he's on the run and tells her to go follow the pigeons. And I'm like, I don't remember any of this, but oh boy, this started out very, very fast, hitting the ground running. I have so many questions and I'm like shook with what happened. Oh my goodness, like I don't remember this at all, but like pigeons, like why is he on the run? Like he was very big and like protecting Cammie, and the last one, like what happened? What is going on? I don't know, but I'm gonna read more to find out because I was shook after reading this first pages and all this stuff. So I just finished the part where she's being interrogated by M16, and yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I still feel like Zach's mom is somehow behind this. We'll see, but I gotta get reading because I was shook by what happened in this. Alrighty, so I've read 7 pages since I last talked to you, and basically Abby's there and she tells Cammie that they captured one of the people that was part of the kidnapping, and he's talking, saying that he only knows the people that he was recruited with when he was at Blackthorn, and basically Mr. Solomon is now was a double agent. So I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I know he's not evil, but maybe he was like a snake and was on the bad side and then realized he was against it. So I don't know, but I'll keep reading because I'm like really intrigued by this, because it's just like, I don't remember any of this at all. So it's like reading it for the first time. Alrighty, so I'm currently on page 124 for Only the Goods by Young, and this I think has been my favorite thus far in it. And I feel like, why do I feel like Edward Townsend? We just got introduced to him a little while ago, and I feel like he is bad, I want to say, because I know Mr. Solomon is not evil, at least that's what my memory is telling me, but I feel like there's something about him that's a little creepy. And so Cammie has just figured out that the pigeons that Mr. Solomon told her to go follow, she figured that out, so she goes to the meetup in Roseville, I think that's what it is, and Zach's there, so that's where I ended. But oh my goodness, loving this so far, and then Cammy's mom was MIA and like no one would tell her even though she was being questioned by the CIA. I don't know why they couldn't just tell her that, because she was worried and thought she was like taken by bad people. I feel like there needs to be better communication between the adults and, you know, the teenagers in this. Like things would be less complicated. I'm looking at my notes right now. But yeah, like I don't know, like this has been so good so far, and yeah. And then we find out that Joe was the one who killed Cammy's dad, and I don't know, I don't remember what that plot line is. Like I said, my memory is so bad, but it was, you know, a long time since I read these, but I don't know. I'm like still shocked by this, but I don't know what is like lies and like what has been a cover up, or like things like that aren't true but just people assume is happening. So I don't know, but I read like 100 pages yesterday, so like I was really drawn in. So if I keep on the like 100 pages, I'll be able to finish this one today if I read and like put my mind to it. But oh man, this is just so good. Alrighty, so I just finished Only the Good Spy Young, and it was crazy. I honestly didn't remember anything that happened in this one, but I remembered the part with Cammy's dad's journal, and it's describing how he was seeing Joe kind of get recruited into the circle, and then how he was trying to get out, and then how they worked together to kind of bring this circle down. And it ends with him going missing, and then Joe has an entry in there about that. So that part was really interesting getting to read, and I totally forgot about that. And then the whole thing with the trap with Joe was just crazy, because I'm like, why would the teacher bring it to the amusement park, but then knowing that Joe would not be okay with Cammy being kind of left unattended like that? And I felt so bad. And then after the whole thing, and then he ends up getting recaptured by the circle, and it's just like, poor Joe, he's just having a hard time this time around. And he tells Cammy to go find the second journal that's at Blackthorn, and I totally forgot the storyline with Blackthorn being like a school for assassins. Like I was pretty sure that they were just another spy school, and just like my memory of it. But oh my goodness, I totally forgot that. But it explains like a lot of the things with like Zach, and like how everything was pristine when they kind of examined the rooms. But yeah, because I remember Zach saying like their school wasn't very nice, and that part in like the cavern was so intense. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about the explosion. I feel like that's me saying like there's so many things that I forgot, but the explosion was so intense because I didn't remember how it was going to end, and I like it like just totally slipped my memory about Joe being basically in a coma, and both Zach and Joe sacrificing themselves for Cammy. I did remember that Zach's mom was part of this circle, so I did remember that part. But yeah, so that part was really intense. Like I like read through it really quickly, and I thought it was very interesting how Cammy goes and runs, like figures that she's putting too many people in harm, like she is the danger to everyone, so she removes herself from that. Like I was shocked by that. Like I said, don't remember too much about it, but this one is definitely a substantial improvement. Like if you compare the first two books, they they like kind of lay down the foundation for like the characters and some of the plot points, but overall, like I feel like the third book is where this really kicks off, and it just becomes an amazing series after that. But oh my goodness, like and then I was like, I remember I was saying like, because I remember Abby goes and kisses Joe in front of everyone at the end of the third one, and I was like, are they a couple? Because I was pretty sure it was Cammy's mom and Joe, but now I'm sure because Cammy saw them on the bed when he was asleep. So I was right about that. My memory did not play tricks on me. I was just a little thrown by that. I'm trying to see what else in my notes. Oh yeah, and Zach is attending the Gallagher Girl Academy, which I think will be interesting being the only guy. I wonder how he's gonna, you know, handle that, but I think that'll be interesting with all the girls there. But yeah, just Cammy running away together and kind of sacrificing herself for the people she loves, I think it's very interesting. And I do not remember what happens in the next two ones, so this will be exciting. But I think I remember this cliff scene. I have this memory of Cammy's dad being like buried in some like place kind of right by the water, like on a cliff somewhere. Like I have that memory in my mind, so I don't know why I keep thinking that, but that's what I'm thinking. So because I know he is not alive. So we'll see. But I'm really excited to start the next one because, like I said, this book series gets better and better with each one, and I feel like just the stakes are so much higher now. Alrighty, so I am 2/3 of the way through Out of Sight, Out of Time, and oh my goodness, so much has happened in this one. Like, I am like enjoying this so much. Like, I literally just read like 200 pages yesterday, and I wasn't even really trying to like read it that much, but I was just so sucked in with the storyline in this one. But Cammy like wakes up in a convent and she doesn't remember anything that happened in like what happened over the past few months, because she left right at the end of school and now it's October and she doesn't remember anything that happened over, you know, those months. So she's found, and then everyone is kind of iffy about her because they're like mad at her because she left without them, but they're also happy she's back, so now they can actually be mad at her. So they're kind of a little awkward with each other, and they're all freaked out because they're kind of coddling her. They don't want her to remember what happened, even though Cammy really wants to try to figure out what happened. Like, she thinks it's important for her, even though like her aunts are telling her not to do that. And I still like, I'm getting the feeling that Dr. Steve is evil in this one. Like, he is trained in psychiatry and he's kind of helping Cammy try to come to terms with what happened, but I feel like he is part of the circle. I don't know why. I just have a feeling like he's a bad character, and Cammy keeps hearing like this music, or she'll keep like humming this melody, and I think that has something to do with, you know, what happened. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Dr. Steve is somehow involved. What else? Oh yeah, Mr. Solomon is still in a coma basically, so he's been, you know, MIA for a while, and now they find out like one of the places that they missed Cammy by a couple days was Joe's cabin. So they went up there, and this guy came and basically tried to kill Cammy now, and she ends up killing him because he was going to kill Bex. And so she's also kind of living with the fact that she's never really used a gun, but she didn't really think much about it and ended up killing someone, even though she ended up saving her friend's life. But she's dealing with that. That part was really intense. Yeah, I still think Dr. Steve is the bad guy, and then now Agent Townsend, Abby, Bex, Macy, and Cammy are in Rome, and she ends up finding her dad's journal in like a safety deposit box at the bank, but the bank ended up being compromised when she went in there. And then Preston, who was helping Cammy, like who was there with Cammy when she was in Rome, her dad like sees her and like helps her, and now they're at the embassy. So that's where I ended off. But like, I feel like so much has happened, and I'm just like very eager to see how this ends. Like, today's Monday, but I'm probably gonna finish this after work. I finished my work for the day. Like, I can probably read the last like 80 or 90 pages like pretty quickly. So I'm excited, but oh man, so much is happening, and I don't know how I feel about this, but it's just amazing. Like, I feel like it's just progressed from like, you know, a nice little like teeny bopper first two books, and then it becomes really complex and kind of has a lot of adult themes into it as well. So yeah, definitely loving it. Like I said, after the third one, it just gets so much better. It's just, or I guess after the second one, it just like changes, like a switch is, you know, turned on, and like it's just a completely different series. But oh, it's just amazing. It's made me realize why I love this series so much. Alrighty, I finished Out of Sight, Out of Time, and all I have to say is I was right. I knew about Dr. Steve. Like, I had an inkling about him even when he was first introduced in the second one. I was like, I feel like he's evil, and lo and behold, I was right. They don't just give PhDs to everyone. But it's good to know my memory isn't that bad, because I've been forgetting a lot of the stuff here. But the last 90 pages were so good. I felt like they were just so intense and crazy, and we're getting some of the answers recognized. Mr. Solomon is finally out of the coma. Good for him. But yeah, I just feel bad for Cammy. Like, she was basically like tortured this entire time, and like everyone kind of had an inkling about it, and she was still kind of like brainwashed by Dr. Steve, and she's never really had to process everything. But yeah, I like the part how the necklace ended up being the Gallagher girl family crest, or the Gallagher family crest, which, like I said, didn't remember it, but I liked how that was the connection, and she felt like she lost everything, when she lost her memory. So I think she's happy she was able to get her dad's journal. She was able to actually have the key for it as well. So I like that. I remembered the part where Cammie's dad was like officially dead, and they kind of had found his grave. I remembered that part, and I remember I was saying, like, I remember something on the cliff on, like, Ireland, and this is the book it happened. And we finally know Zach's mom's name. I was realizing this, and I was just like, they never really mentioned her name. It's just Zach's mom, which is a little bit funny, but I realized it. But her name's Catherine now, so that was good. I always feel like the adults in this one are just kind of in the wrong place as the kids, because they're like, there was this whole thing with like Catherine basically getting the list and all that, and they were just kind of off somewhere else, and I'm just like, where are all the adults in this? Like, I feel like they're just kind of, for spies, they really are missing out on this. But yeah, it was a really good ending. I forgot about the part where there's like different layers of the circle that are trying to it. So like the people at the top don't want their names revealed from the list, and then the people in the lower one want to stage a coup to overthrow that, which I think is very interesting. Hence why there is like ones who don't want to kill them and then kill Cammie, and the ones that do. So very, very interesting. But I also like the banter between Abigail and Townsend. I think it's just so funny, and just the way it's written, it's really just a fun joy to read. So that is really good as well. But yeah, this one ended, I love this one. Like, the series, like I said, after the second one, the series just becomes amazing. So I'm definitely excited to pick up the last one as well. But I feel bad for Cammie on this one. Like, she was like totally just having a hard time, all that stuff, and almost jumped off a ledge, and her poor mom's probably just all stressed out. Yeah, I feel bad, but I'm excited. I definitely will be finishing this later in the week, and then I'll finally have finished this series. But yeah, this was definitely, like, I enjoyed rereading this. It was definitely worth a reread, especially with the big time gap in between me reading it. So definitely worth it. So I'm excited to pick this one up. So I'm 104 pages into United We Spy, and it's just literally hit the ground running. I have my notes here because I feel like I'm just like, my memory is just kind of all over the place. But it starts out with Cammie, and she's in the UK hunting down the people from the inner circle, and they're trying to get them before Zach's mom gets her, and it's just intense. Like, oh man, Zach's mom basically just like kills him right in front of them and then throws a grenade at them. So she really has something out for Cammie in here. But they're kind of, I think, like, Bex and like Macy and Liz and like Cammie are all feeling like they're being not really included in this, even though they played like a pivotal part. I feel like the adults in here are trying to protect them from it, but they want to be I think they feel like they need to be the ones to end this, especially Cammie too, because they have taken so much from her. I think she needs to be like she says, it didn't start with her, but she feels like it needs to end with her, which I think is a very interesting interpretation of that. But yeah, so they ended up killing Sir Walter, and then when Cammie goes back to school, she ends up meeting, I think, someone in grade 7 named Amy, and I feel like she plays a pivotal part. Like, why would they introduce this person, give a name? Like, I feel like she will play a role in like later ones. Who knows? I don't know. But I was like, need to keep my eyes peeled on that one. But then they go on another mission, and the girls just sneak out and go to Rome to make sure Preston's okay. But they ended up kind of, interrupting the Abby and Agent Townsend's mission of arresting Mr. Winters and Preston, and they're all upset that they arrested Preston too. But I think they're kind of realizing that, you can't really trust anyone, and Mr. Winters comes like when he's getting interrogated by Max Edwards, he specifically wants to talk to Cammy. So that's where we are now. Cammy has got basically she's going to be interviewing him now, and I feel like Max Edwards is going to be important. Well, he used to work at Interpol. He's a man Cammy met during like the career fair, who knew her dad, and then he's also the one doing the interrogations and kind of running the small force here. But yeah, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for that. I'm like right at the part, like, and I fell asleep right afterwards, so I definitely will be picking that up later today. But yeah, and I love how, you know, there's, you know, Rachel and Joe are a cute couple, and Abby and Agent Townsend are cute. So I really like these, like, you know, cute couples. And I do like the names of all of like the older adult characters in here. Like I like the name Rachel, Abigail, and Catherine. Like I really like those names, so I'm like, good choice for the like older adults. But yeah, definitely loving it so far. I'm gonna be so sad it's over because I don't remember how it ends, so that is gonna be fun. But definitely we'll be reading some more tonight. I am honestly shocked with how this book is going. So I'm on page 237, and oh my goodness, so much has happened within the last like 120 pages since I last talked to you guys. But like I am like shook. But basically Cammy goes to the prison facility and then goes to talk to Mr. Winters, and he ends up getting assassinated while she's there, and the gunman goes after Cammy, but she escapes. And then she goes back and she realizes that Mr. Winters says Liz will know, like she's like smart and she'll figure it out. And Liz realizes that the series of events, like world events or global events that were happening, were related to the essay that she wrote on how World War III would start. And so she realizes that the circle has her paper that she wrote, and so they kind of figure out like what the circle is planning and the destruction and all of that. So then the Max Edwards guy is kind of like going after Cammy now, and Rachel and Joe. So Rachel and Joe are on the run, and then Cammy realized that they're going after her and Zach. So everyone goes and then like escapes from the school, and they plan to go save Preston. They get him, and then they are trying. Max gets shot too. That was a whole big thing. I honestly am a little bit concerned at how much I've forgotten. Like I'm thinking I might have some memory issues. But besides the point, yeah, so Max gets shot, and then they realize that the next thing that would like lead to the chain of events leading to World War III is the king being assassinated, or the exiled king from Caspia. And so they weren't able to save him, and they go to Zach's mom's old house, and then Catherine shows up and they give her truth serum, and then Abby and Townsend show up, and Catherine says that Agent Townsend is Zach's father, and that's where I ended up. And I was literally like, oh my goodness, I'm so sad that I have to go back to my studying. You can see my calculator's out, everything, but oh man, this has just been so intense. And I like feel so sad for Cammy too, because you can tell she's really struggling with this. Like she feels guilty and responsible, and she feels like her choices and actions have repercussions and they can hurt those around her. So she's really struggling with that and just kind of dealing with that. And I don't know if I mentioned this too, but I like how this book also kind of highlights the good mother-daughter relationships as well. I like how it highlights that, or having like a good, you know, female role model. I like that as well. Like with Abby, I like that as well. So definitely really loving it. I'm probably gonna finish this later today, which I'm super excited about. But oh man, rereading this series has been totally worth it. Like it's honestly been amazing. Like I forgot how much I liked it, and I realize I'm a little concerned with my memory loss, because I think that might be a problem, because it's deeply concerning. But nevertheless, oh, I can't wait to see how this ends. Like there was just that big truth bomb at the end, and oh my goodness, so much drama. Alrighty guys, so last night I ended up finishing United We Spy, and it was such a good ending to the series. Like Cammy basically, so they go back to the Gallagher Academy, try to protect Amira from the circle, and Catherine's mom, or Catherine is, you know, being held prisoner, but when they told Amira like what happened, she ends up running away. So Cammy figures out that she would escape to Roseville, and so Cammy goes to get Amelia, and as they're leaving, Dr. Steve shows up. Of course, he had to, you know, and he shoots Cammy, and then he ends up getting run over by a car by Max Edwards, and then Max Edwards tries to kill Cammy and Amira. So much stuff was going on in this last part, like it was explosive, literally. But yeah, so then Cammy is protecting Amira, and he ends up shooting Cammy again, so she's gotten shot twice already, so she's, you know, down for the count. But then Joe and Rachel, you know, come to the rescue, and they end up shooting Max. And so, you know, it's finally over. Max was the last person who was, you know, a part of the circle, so it's over now. And then Cammy wakes up in the hospital. Her mom's engaged to Joe, which we all saw coming, basically. I had my doubts a little bit, but I was like, is my memory that bad? But I was right. But oh man. But yeah, and then, you know, they're gonna graduate, and as they're moving, Catherine, she escapes. I feel like they need to have better security with these. Like, girls are escaping from this school, like Catherine's escaping, and she's gonna burn down, like blow up the school basically. So Cammy realizes that, they get everyone out, and literally just like this 150-year-old mansion just, you know, explodes. Very dramatic ending, but I like how it was like basically like from the ashes, like they can, you know, restart and build their lives. And I think like Cammy needed that, you know, closure. They graduate, and then yeah, Cammy is 6 months later, and she's working for the CIA with Zach in Townsend. There's some like things that we don't really get a lot of answers to. Like, they never really address how Zach feels about Townsend beating his dad. Like, they don't really, besides the reveal of it, they don't really talk about it. And then we don't find out who was the woman who did the dead drop for Cammy's dad at the circus. Like, we never find out that. So overall, this series is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Like, it was just super, super nostalgic, and it definitely lives up to rereading it now as an adult, as opposed to being like the age group that this is, like the demographic that this series is aimed towards. I think like the first two are like 3 out of 5 stars for me. They're very juvenile, but I feel like after the after the second book, that's where this series really kicks off, and the overarching narrative of the circle really gets in. So it's very much shifted. Like, I feel like for the first 2 books, Cammy is very like juvenile and like a kid, and I feel like the third book is really, we see that shift between her, you know, being a kid spy and actually having to make adult choices and decisions. So I really like that. I love seeing Cammy grow over these 6 novels, and yeah, this series has really held up, you know, many years later. So I cannot complain. Definitely love it. I love the themes that it addresses on, with like sisterhood and strong female friendship and strong, you know, female characters and good mother-daughter relationships. I think this is a series that I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I definitely can't wait to have kids, and then like when they're old enough they can read this. But yeah, this series has definitely held up for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. It's basically me just being like, I'm like, basically after the first 2, it was like reading them for the first time, because I totally forgot about a lot of things. There's some things I remembered here or there, so I'm not crazy, but it was a little concerning how much I've forgotten. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of these like rereading vlog experiences and all that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.